Welcome back to Talk of the Town on WHTC, Holland's Cool FM, on WHTC.com, and on the WHTC app for your smartphone. Once again, here's your host, Gary Stevens.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town for this Monday, August the 10th. Second Monday of the month, which means we get more recipes from Chef Terry Tucker, Freedom Village here in Holland, on the other side of our table this morning. Terry, good morning. Welcome back, sir.
Good morning.
And if you, as we get these recipes, if you have a question about something that Terry has passing along, you can certainly call us at 616-395-1450. And at the top of the hour, we'll give you an opportunity. We'll tell you about the opportunity you can have to get hard copies of all these recipes through Freedom Village. We offer appetizers along with entrees and desserts. Let's begin with the appetizers. The first one is a strawberry avocado salsa, and it serves 4.
Right. We're going to start out with 1 cup of fresh strawberries, finely chopped, a 1/4 cup of avocado, peeled and finely chopped, 2 tablespoons of red onion, finely chopped, 2 tablespoons of fresh cilantro, chopped, a 1/2 teaspoon of lime rind, grated, 2 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, 2 teaspoons of jalapeno pepper, finely chopped and seeded, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. You want to gather your ingredients, and in a large bowl, we're going to combine 1 cup of strawberries, our 1/4 cup of avocado, our 2 tablespoons of red onion, our 2 tablespoons of cilantro, our 1/2 teaspoon of lime rind, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 2 teaspoons of jalapeno peppers, and our 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. We're going to toss this gently to combine and serve it immediately. It goes really well over grilled chicken, fish, some grilled pork tenderloin. That would be a nice way to serve that.
Next up, a smoked whitefish spread, and it serves 12.
We're going to start out with 1 pound of smoked whitefish, the skin removed and broken into 1/8-inch pieces by hand, 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, an 1/8 cup of half and half creamer, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice, some white pepper to taste, 1 tablespoon of capers, chopped fine, optional if you'd like, and then 1 teaspoon of dried dill. And then if you want to garnish this a little bit more, you can do some finely chopped cooked egg, finely chopped red onion, some more capers, some sliced black olives, sliced lemons, fresh parsley, and fresh dill. And you can always serve this with crackers, pita chips, vegetable strips, whichever you'd like. You want to gather your ingredients. We're going to mix 1 pound of the whitefish, as well as 8 ounces of cream cheese, our 1/4 cup of mayo, our 1/8 cup of half and half, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice, and our white pepper to taste. And then the 1 tablespoon of chopped capers, if you choose, and 1 teaspoon of dill together, all in a food processor or a mixing bowl, just until combined. And you want to form this into a mold or a ball and place on a decorative tray, and then keep chilled until ready to serve. And you can, again, garnish with any of the items from prior and serve with the dipper of choice.
Even though it is summertime, soup is on the menu, although this is a chilled cantaloupe soup. It serves 6.
Right. We're going to start out with 1 cantaloupe, peeled, seeded, and cubed, 2 cups of orange juice, 1 tablespoon of fresh lime juice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. We're going to gather our ingredients, and we're going to peel, seed, and cube the cantaloupe. We're going to place the cantaloupe in 1.5 cup of orange juice in a blender or food processor, and then we're going to cover and process that until smooth. You want to transfer the cantaloupe then into a large bowl. We're going to stir in 1 tablespoon of lime juice and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and our remaining orange juice. You want to cover and refrigerate for at least 1 hour, and then garnish with some mint leaves if you desire when you serve it.
Next up, as we continue our appetizers, a watermelon fire and ice salsa, and it serves 24.
Right, we're going to start out with 3 cups of watermelon, diced a 1/4 inch, 1/2 cup of green bell pepper, diced a 1/4 inch, 1 tablespoon of green onion, chopped, 1 tablespoon of jalapeno pepper, chopped fine, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 2 tablespoons of fresh cilantro, chopped, and half a teaspoon of garlic salt. After prepping all the ingredients, we're going to combine 3 cups of watermelon, half a cup of green bell pepper, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 2 tablespoons of cilantro, 1 tablespoon of green onions, 1 tablespoon of jalapeno, and a half a teaspoon of garlic salt in a large bowl. You want to mix this well and serve or keep overnight until under refrigeration.
Continuing on, we have a Napa cabbage salad, and it serves a dozen.
Right. We're going to start out with 1 head of Napa cabbage, chopped ½ inch, a quarter cup of sunflower seeds, roasted and salted, a half a can of chow mein noodles or rice noodles, a third cup of sliced almonds, a third cup of sesame seeds, and then for the dressing, it's 1 cup of salad oil, 3/4 cup of sugar, half a cup of apple cider vinegar, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, some salt to taste, and an 1/8 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper. You want to gather your ingredients. You want to wash and chop the head of Napa cabbage. And then in a pan, we're going to brown a 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds, a 1/3 cup of sesame seeds, and our half can of chow mein noodles or rice noodles, as well as a 1/3 cup of almonds. You can do this in the oven or you can do it on the stove in a pan. In the oven, it would be golden brown at 325, and then you want to cool those and store them in a container, nicely sealed. Then to make the dressing, we're going to dissolve 3/4 cup of sugar, half a cup of apple cider vinegar in a pan on top of the stove until dissolved. You want to let that cool, and then we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of soy sauce and the salt to taste, and our 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. And with the mixer running, we're going to slowly add in the 1 cup of salad oil in a steady stream to mix, and it should be bound together and a little bit thick. And then you want to toss all the ingredients together in a large bowl, and you can serve it in the decorative bowl. You can also leave some of the crunchy topping to put on top as a garnish if you'd like.
One more appetizer for us today. It's a couscous and cucumber salad, and it serves 8.
Right. We're going to start out with 10 ounces of uncooked couscous, a 1/3 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a half a cup of lemon juice, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper, 1 cucumber seeded and chopped, a half a cup of green onions, finely chopped, half a cup of fresh parsley, chopped, a 1/4 cup of fresh basil, chopped, 6 lettuce leaves, and 6 lemon slices. You want to gather your ingredients, and in a medium saucepan, we're going to bring a 1/3 cup of water to a boil. We're going to stir in 10 ounces of our couscous, and then we're going to remove that from heat and let stand covered for about 5 minutes. Then you want to cool the couscous to room temperature from that point. It's best to spread it out on a sheet tray so that it gets the airflow to it. Meanwhile, in a medium bowl, we're going to combine 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a half a cup of lemon juice, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We're going to stir in 1 chopped cucumber, a half a cup of chopped green onion, a half a cup of chopped parsley, a 1/4 cup of chopped fresh basil, and our 10 ounces of our cooked couscous. Mix well and chill for at least 1 hour. And then you can line a plate with 6 washed lettuce leaves, and you can spoon the couscous salad over the leaves and garnish with 6 lemon slices.
Let's now move to the entrees, and we'll begin with a skillet pork chop saute with peaches. It serves 4.
Right. We're going to start out with 2 teaspoons of olive oil, 4 4-ounce each center-cut boneless pork loin chops, trimmed, a half a teaspoon of salt, optional, a half a teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper, 2 tablespoons of shallots, thinly sliced, 2 teaspoons of fresh thyme, chopped, 2 fresh peaches cut into 8 wedges each, a half a cup of dry white wine, 2 teaspoons of honey, and 2 teaspoons of butter. You want to gather ingredients and heat a large skillet over medium heat. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of oil to the skillet and swirl the pan to coat. We're going to sprinkle chops evenly with salt and pepper. We're going to add the pork chops to the pan and then cook 3 minutes on each side or until done. You want to remove the chops from pan and keep them nice and warm. We're then going to add 2 tablespoons of shallots, 2 teaspoons of fresh thyme, and the peaches to the pan. We want to cook these for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to stir in a half a cup of wine, and we're going to then scrape off the brown bits from the pan just to loosen them, and then bring this to a boil. And we're going to cook this until reduced to about a 1/3 cup. It should take about 2 minutes. You want to then stir in a half a cup of broth and 2 teaspoons of honey and bring this to a boil, and cook until reduced to a 1/3 cup, another 2 minutes. And remove from heat, and then you can stir in the 2 teaspoons of butter. And you can spoon the sauce over the chops when you serve it.
Next up, Michigan chicken, and it serves 8.
All right, we're going to start out with 8 chicken breasts, skinless, boneless, and pounded thin. 3 cups of flour, 3 eggs beaten, water separated. We need 2 cups, another 1/4 cup, and then another 4 tablespoons. 6 cups of canola oil, 4 cups of breadcrumbs, 1.5 cups of dried cherries, an 1/8 cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of orange zest, fresh, 1 cinnamon stick, and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. You want to gather your ingredients, and in a large zipped bag, you can add 3 cups of flour and set that aside. And in a medium bowl, we're going to combine 3 beaten eggs as well as a 1/4 cup of water and set that aside. And then on a baking sheet or a large platter, we're going to add 4 cups of breadcrumbs and set that aside. And in a saucepan, we're going to combine 1.5 cups of dried cherries and 2 cups of water. We're going to heat to a simmer on medium heat. And in a small bowl, we're going to combine the 4 tablespoons of water and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and stir that to combine, but set that aside. We're then going to add in an 1/8 cup of brown sugar to the dried cherries, 1 tablespoon of fresh orange zest, and a stick of cinnamon to the cherries and water. Once this combination is simmering, we're going to add a little of the cornstarch slurry to the sauce and stir to combine. The sauce will thicken quickly and continue to add, stirring constantly until you get the desired thickness that you'd like. You may not need all of the slurry depending on your taste. And then you want to keep that warm over low heat. And we're going to place 2 chicken breasts at a time inside the bag of flour and shake until the breasts are coated with flour. Remove from bag and then dip the chicken into the egg water solution to coat over the flour. Then remove and place the chicken in the breadcrumbs to coat both sides of the chicken breasts. We'll continue this with all 8 of the chicken breasts until coated with flour, egg, and breadcrumbs. Then in a large skillet over medium heat, we're going to add 4 cups of canola oil and heat until hot. We're going to lay the chicken breasts in the skillet and cook until golden brown on both sides, about 3 to 5 minutes each side. Then remove and place on a paper towel lined plate, making sure the internal temp of the chicken is 165 degrees. You want to continue with all of the chicken breasts until they're cooked. May need to add additional oil to the pan as needed. And you finally can serve the chicken breasts with cherry sauce and some chopped parsley as a garnish.
Next up, as we continue our look at entrees this week with Chef Terry Tucker, honey mustard glazed salmon steaks, and it serves 6.
Right. We're going to start out with a 1/4 cup of Dijon mustard, a 1/4 cup of whole grain brown mustard, a 1/4 cup of honey, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 garlic minced, 1.5 teaspoons of 1.5 teaspoons of fresh thyme, finely chopped, 6 salmon steaks, 8-ounce portions, some canola oil for brushing the salmon, and then some salt and fresh ground black pepper to taste. You want to gather your ingredients and preheat your grill. And in a medium bowl, we're going to whisk together a 1/4 cup of Dijon mustard and a 1/4 cup of the whole grain mustard, as well as a 1/4 cup of honey, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and 1.5 teaspoons of thyme, as well as the garlic clove that's been minced. The mustard mix can be made ahead of time and refrigerated overnight if you'd like. You'll brush the salmon steaks with the canola oil and season with salt and pepper to taste, and then grill our salmon steaks for about 5 minutes at moderate heat. Turn over and grill for another 5 minutes longer until salmon is nearly cooked through. Pour about half of the honey mustard mixture into a separate bowl and set that aside. You want to generously brush both sides of the salmon with the honey mustard mixture and then grill, turning frequently until a rich glaze appears, about 1 minute. If needed, take an additional amount from the bowl and set that aside. Just be careful not to cross-contaminate the unused portion of the mustard. And then transfer to a platter or plates to serve. Serve remaining honey mustard at the table if desired, making sure there was not cross-contamination during the glazing. And then you can serve these with some steamed or grilled bok choy if you'd like, just for some flair.
One more entree before we take our break. A cheese and spinach stuffed portobellos serves 4.
All right, we're going to start with 4 large portobello mushroom caps, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper, divided, 1 cup of part skim ricotta cheese, 1 cup of fresh spinach, finely chopped, half a cup of Parmesan cheese, finely shredded and divided, 2 tablespoons of Kalamata olives, finely chopped. That's optional if you'd like. Half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and 3/4 cup of prepared marinara sauce. Gather your ingredients, preheat your oven to 450 degrees, and we're going to coat a rimmed baking sheet with canola or olive oil cooking spray. We're going to place the mushroom caps, all 4 of them, gill side up on the prepared baking sheet. And then we're going to sprinkle with a little salt and an 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. You want to roast the mushroom caps in your oven until tender, about 20 to 25 minutes. While the mushrooms are roasting, we can mash up 1 cup of ricotta, 1 cup of the chopped spinach, a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons of olives, and a 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and the remaining 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper in a medium bowl. We're going to place 3/4 cup of marinara in a small saucepan and heat until hot, about 2 to 3 minutes. When the mushrooms are tender, we're going to carefully pour out any liquid that may have accumulated in the caps. Return the caps to the pan as they were. Spread 1 tablespoon of marinara sauce into each cap. Cover the remaining sauce and keep that warm. Then we're going to mound a generous 1/3 cup portion of ricotta filling into each cap and sprinkle with the remaining 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. You want to bake these caps until hot, about 10 more minutes, and then you can serve each cap with the remaining marinara sauce as a garnish for the plate.
Terry, let's now move to the desserts, and we'll begin first with a lemon blueberry bar recipe, and it serves 18.
We'll start out with 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs, 4 tablespoons of melted butter, a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar as well, 8 ounces of whipped topping, Cool Whip, divided, 1.5 cups of blueberries, fresh or frozen, 1 small package of lemon gelatin, and 1.5 cups of hot water. We want to gather ingredients and preheat our oven to 350 degrees. We're going to mix together 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs, 4 tablespoons of melted butter, and a 1/3 cup of sugar. We want to press this into a greased 9x13 pan. We're going to bake at 350 degrees for approximately 5 minutes or until the edges are browned. Remove from oven and cool completely. And in a large mixing bowl, we're going to beat 8 ounces of cream cheese and 3/4 cup of sugar until blended. We're going to gently fold in a 4-ounce whipped topping and spread the mixture evenly over the crust. We're going to spread 1.5 cups of blueberries evenly over this layer. And we want to chill that until set. Then we're going to dissolve our gelatin in hot water. We're going to cool this until just thickened and mix in 4 ounces of whipped topping until blended. We're going to pour the mixture over the pan and chill until nice and firm and all set. And then you can serve it with a fresh mint sprig if you'd like.
Next up, a fresh blueberry cobbler, and it serves 8.
1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, a half a cup of sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, a 3/4 cup of whole milk, a 1/3 cup of melted butter, 2 cups of fresh blueberries washed and patted dry, a 1/3 cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We want to gather ingredients, preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and in a medium bowl, we're going to combine 1 1/4 cups of flour, a half a cup of sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to add in 3/4 cup of whole milk and a 1/3 cup of melted butter, and you want to stir that to combine. You want to spread the batter into a greased 8-inch baking pan, sprinkle 2 cups of blueberries evenly over the batter, and then sprinkle a 1/3 cup of sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla over the berries. You want to bake this cobbler at 350 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean when inserted in the center. Serve warm with vanilla frozen yogurt or plain if you'd like.
And our final recipe will be a blueberry zucchini bread, 2 standard loaves. It serves 12 total.
All right, we're going to start out with 3 eggs lightly beaten, a half a cup of canola oil, a half a cup of applesauce, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 2 1/4 cups of white sugar or sugar substitute, 2 cups of zucchini shredded, 3 cups plus of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, and 1 pint of fresh blueberries. You want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. We're going to lightly grease a regular loaf pan or 4 mini loaf pans if you'd like. In a large bowl, we're going to beat together the 3 eggs, a half a cup of oil, a half a cup of applesauce, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and 2 1/4 cups of sugar or sugar substitute. We're then going to fold in our 2 cups of shredded zucchini and beat in the 3 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. You want to gently toss the blueberries in a little bit of flour to coat them, and then fold them into the batter gently and transfer to a greased bread pans. Then we're going to bake the loaves for 50 minutes to 1 hour and 10 minutes until a knife inserted in the center of the loaf comes out clean. You want to cool at least 20 minutes in the pan and then turn the loaves out on a wire rack just to finish cooling completely. And you may cover them with foil loosely to prevent excessive browning if you notice that's starting to happen after about a half hour.
Again, the recipes that were passed on today by Chef Terry Tucker: a strawberry avocado salsa, smoked whitefish spread, chilled cantaloupe soup, watermelon fire and ice salsa, Napa cabbage salad, couscous and cucumber salad, skillet pork chop saute with peaches, Michigan chicken, honey mustard glazed salmon steaks, cheese and spinach stuffed portobellos, lemon blueberry bars, fresh blueberry cobbler, and blueberry zucchini bread. There are a couple of other recipes that we didn't have time to get to, but if you would like these recipes, you can certainly get a hold of Freedom Village at 616-820-7400, 616-820-7400, and ask for Live in Marketing. Chef Terry Tucker, as always, thank you very much for passing on some great recipes for us. Wish you and everybody at Freedom Village well, and all goes well. We'll do this again the month of September. Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chef Terry Tucker. NBC News, Michael Kastner straight ahead, followed by WHTC News, and then more talk of the town, including Brian Spencer's What's New Around Helen, and a conversation with State House Representative Nancy DeBoer. Reminder, Tiger baseball tomorrow night. Tigers and the Cleveland Guardians from Comerica Park. Coverage begins at 6:15 p.m. on WHTC, Holland's Cool FM.